If you need to learn how to talk to a lady, ask your mum.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole, if you don't know me, and I make a lot of skincare education videos and also a lot of Korean skincare videos. So if you're interested, be sure to subscribe. But today what we are going to talk about are Fenty skincare dupes. I know that everyone is reviewing Fenty skin, and I personally have not been able to grab the products myself, but I have watched a bunch of videos reviewing the products, showing the textures, and I think I have a really good idea of what the products are like, so I can provide you guys with dupes to the products if you are looking for them. Now, Rihanna's new skincare line, Fenty Skin, is all about inclusivity and diversity. Her line is basically what the skincare industry should be and should be catering to. What I'm here to say is that this video is in no way saying that Fenty Skin is bad. I'm basically just here to give a different perspective on what her products might be like if you can't afford them, or if you don't want them but you want to have like a similar experience. I'm gonna be giving you guys some cheaper options. For those of you who are sensitive to fragrance, I will have some fragrance-free options here. So if you really want to try Fenty Skin and you're allergic to fragrance, then I have some things here that you guys might like. So just stick with me, and I hope you guys enjoy all of these options. So essentially, Rihanna's line is supposed to be geared towards people who want affordable skincare, but it has to work, right? So sometimes there's this stigma that affordable skincare doesn't work, or it's not as effective as expensive skincare. So I guess her motive here was to prove that wrong, that affordable skincare can be efficacious, it can work. Her other goal here was vegan. I noticed all of her products are vegan, so I tried to make sure that a lot of the products I'm recommending today are also vegan. And then she, of course, has this whole initiative about inclusivity, which is, again, as I stated in the beginning, should always be just the default for any brand, is inclusivity. But unfortunately, that's not the way it is in the skincare industry or just the beauty industry as a whole. So I really appreciate Rihanna for that initiative, and I did want to keep that in mind. So some of the brands here do have actual initiatives as of right now and for the future to support communities, Black communities. So I will be very specific about that. The first thing I want to go over is the Remove It All cleanser, and it's $25. And the description says that Rihanna wanted to create a cleanser that won't dry out your skin, so you could use it every night and day. So from the reviews that I saw, they were talking about how this cleanser is like creamy, but it has a little foam to it. I also saw James Welsh use the product, and it looked more creamy, and then just like it didn't even look like it honestly foamed. Most cleansers have a bit of a suds to it because they have surfactants or just cleansing agents in them to remove the dirt and impurities from the skin. So this one just seemed more like a creamy cleanser, not much of a foaming because it didn't have that pump. So the first dupe that I have that is probably the closest you will get to this type of cleanser, and a lot of these products are Korean, so I really wanted to stick to my little niche here, you know. So the first product I have is the Soko Glam Good Skin Days New Leaf Cleanser. This cleanser is a creamy cleanser. It has a little bit of a foam to it. I intentionally looked for the foam when I used it before this video. It does have a little foam. It also contains mugwort leaf, and they just look like kind of soaked leaves. It's supposed to exfoliate, like a physical exfoliation, but I wouldn't really even go that far. I personally didn't think it was harsh at all. I honestly can't even feel the leaves, and sometimes you don't even get, when you squeeze this out, you don't even get a leaf. But I personally think this is really great for sensitive skin because I have sensitive skin, and not to say everyone has the same experience as I do, but this really did not dry out my skin at all. I have very like desert dry skin. It's very hydrating, very moisturizing. Even though it's a cream and it has a little bit of a foam, It's not overwhelming and it's not going to dry out your skin. And I think that's very similar to Rihanna's. It does have fragrance in it. It has a little bit. This cleanser is $16, so it is almost $10 less than the Fenty Skin one. I honestly, I absolutely adore this. So every time you purchase a Good Skin Days product from Soko Glam, they contribute a portion of that sale to a charity of your choice. And so every 6 or so months they choose a new charity, and they already have a charity in place and they are currently donating to the Black Lives Matter organization. So if that is of interest to you and you would like to support that organization at this time, then you can go off and buy one of these products. I really recommend this one as probably your first shot because it's such a great cleanser. It's really not going to be harsh or drying. I also wanted to make that clear with this line too, because I know that I really wanted to incorporate the whole inclusivity, diversity, and supporting person of color or the Black community. So that's why I really wanted to show this line too, is because I felt like it was kind of in line with Rihanna's mission with her skincare line. The next product I have is, oh my gosh. So the next product I have is the Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser by Krave Beauty. I do believe that this is vegan, and I also believe that the Good Skin Days cleanser is vegan as well, but I can put it up on the screen here if it ends up not being vegan. But the Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser by Krave Beauty, I'm almost 100% sure is also vegan. It's $16, it's fragrance free, but it's not a cream cleanser, it's more of a gel cleanser. It's a little bit goopy and viscous. If you've ever tried the Then I Met You Soothing Tea Cleansing Gel, it's literally like that. If you've ever tried the Power Calm Hydrating Cleanser by Peach and Lily, it's similar to that. It's a little bit stickier, but it has that gel consistency. It foams the tiniest bit, but I think it's just as comparable to the Fenty Skin cleanser. I also think it probably might be better. I've heard some people say that the cleanser is a little bit drying. I really appreciate this cleanser because it seems very versatile. I don't want to say it's good for every skin type, but I do think that it does have a good range and it reaches very far. I like it for my very dry skin because the gel is just very hydrating and it contains a lot of really good antioxidant hydrating components like matcha, hemp seed oil. So this cleanser is also just very acne friendly because of its anti-inflammation components due to the hemp seed oil. Just really good at reducing redness. I think that if you really want to try a cleanser that is cheaper, pretty similar, but a bit more hydrating and fragrance free, then you should really go with this one too, because this is really beautiful. I know some people can't get Krave Beauty in other countries. I don't know if this is a helpful hint, but Stylovana, I believe that's the name of the store. It's an online like K-beauty, like Costco type store, just has every K-beauty thing. And I believe they probably sell internationally. So if you guys are interested, I think they do sell Krave Beauty on stylovana.com. So now we're on to product number 2 of the Fenty Skin line. And this is their Fat Water Pore Refining Toner. And this is technically a toner serum because it has such a viscous and thick consistency. So this toner is meant for oil reduction and it helps to remove excess oil, targets pores while not stripping the skin. This is also a serum toner blend and it has a more viscous consistency that gives you the serum feel, but is also light enough that you can use it if you have like an oily skin type. This toner also contains witch hazel in it, which I tend to have very like differing opinions on. Witch hazel, what I've learned is that it's very anecdotal, so it really depends on the skin type that it works or doesn't work for people. There are things in witch hazel called tannins, components in witch hazel called tannins, and when they stay on the skin for too long, they can cause sensitization. So that's why if you have sensitive skin and you're going to use witch hazel, it might be better to just use it in a wash-off formula rather than using it in a formula that stays on the skin. Witch hazel is really good for oil reduction because it is an astringent where it reduces the production of oil, and it is also very good for like redness and inflammation. So a lot of people like to use it on like ingrown hairs. Like I bet like under your armpits it would work really well. Even acne, witch hazel a lot of people swear by. Again, it really depends on the skin type. I find that witch hazel, and I saw James Walsh also talk about this too, is that in this toner it tends to be very compact with a lot of other hydrating ingredients. So I find when witch hazel is in a formulation and it's filled with a bunch of other hydrating ingredients and there's no fragrance or extra alcohols in there, it tends to be okay for my skin and actually works really well. But if witch hazel is also combined with just more astringents and alcohol and fragrance, it can be a little bit sensitizing. And I've heard that this toner is great, but also the witch hazel can be a bit sensitizing for people who have sensitive skin. So you're really lucky if you're here and you're looking for a dupe for this toner, because I technically hoard toners, and it's a bad habit, right? I just have a lot of favorites that I think if you are looking for a dupe, you'll be happy here, right? You'll find it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the hanskin Hyaluron Skin Essence. And I really love this essence. Even though it is an essence, it can work as a toner, yes, because it's $25, it's fragrance free, and it is probably very close to the fat water consistency. This is based with glycerin. It also has linseed oil in it, and those components will help to deliver essential fatty acids to the skin as well as repair the skin barrier, because glycerin is a skin identical ingredient, meaning it's naturally found within your skin. So it's a really good ingredient if your skin is very damaged. It will help to repair that or just strengthen what already is there and strong. My favorite part about this is the hydration, but also the consistency. Having dry skin, I do like that a little bit of a thicker feel, not necessarily like creamy and sticky, but just a thicker, more viscous. This product is also fragrance free, and if you are interested, this product is also vegan. So the next product I really want to show is a brand that is kind of based around using witch hazel in their products. And if I were to say that you should try any brand with witch hazel if you're interested, I would really go for this Korean brand called Ground Plan. I absolutely love their products, and it's very interesting because I have done some like blog posts and Instagram posts about witch hazel and how it can sensitize the skin, and I bet you guys have seen so many videos like Dr. Dre or Skincare by Hiram. For witch hazel, I don't necessarily like to use products with it intentionally, but Ground Plan has been something that I've used for a really long time, and after learning more about witch hazel, I still continue to use because it works for my skin. I really love it because, especially with this Secret Mist daily mask, these are just basically little cotton rounds that are soaked in the Secret Mist essence that they are very well known for. You can find this brand on Peach and Lily, and they also have their own website that they sell on, and I believe they do deliver to the United States. And I love them because they tend to just wrap their one witch hazel component in a bunch of humectants and a bunch of hydrating ingredients, and it's very hydrating, and it does give you a little bit of that viscous consistency. I would still say it's a little bit on the watery side. It's not going to be exactly like the fat water from Fenty, but if you like the witch hazel in there, this might be a good option for you if you're looking for something else. It is $47, this specific product, but they do have other products that are cheaper within the $30 range that you could buy that have the same type of formulation as this one, like the Secret Mist. I will link that below as well. This does contain 2 fragrant components, anise extract and lavender oil. Personally, when I use this, it doesn't irritate my skin at all. I like to use this as an essence or as a toner, and I just take the pads and swipe it across my skin. You could also take the pads and use them as a mask. You can also take the pads and swipe them across your skin and then wash it off. This specific product by Ground Plan is also vegan if that is important to you guys. The next product I have here is the Aloe BHA Skin Toner by Benton. This product is $19 and it is not vegan because it does contain snail secretion, but this product is fragrance free and it does contain a chemical exfoliant called BHA. BHA is really beneficial specifically for oily skin types because it helps to reduce oil from deep within the pore level. So if you are looking for a form of oil control and you want a cheaper option, you want a fragrance-free option, it's not vegan, but it will do the trick. It is hydrating, it has aloe in it. Although aloe has a really high concentration of water, it still is formulated with other good humectants and hydrating ingredients, which is helpful and still hydrating for the skin. I do think that this is a good option. So I really want to throw this toner in there. I really didn't write a lot about it either, so I will leave the price here. It's called the Klare Supple Preparation Unscented Toner. I personally really love this toner. It's actually a really brand new favorite of mine. I'm falling in love with the brand Klare's as well, so just beware, that might be like my new obsession on all of my whatever social media. This is thick and I would say it's comparable to the hanskin essence, and I would say that this could possibly give you that same consistency as the fat water. It's hydrating. I would not say it has oil control components, but it has humectants and hydrating ingredients, has calming ingredients, really good for sensitive skin, really good for dry skin, and it's unscented. It has no fragrance in it at all. So if you are looking for a fat skin dupe, this could be it, but it doesn't have oil control components, so I wouldn't expect that from it. I would just expect hydration. Oh my gosh, okay. I feel like I've been talking for probably an hour now. The last thing we're gonna go over, the third product from the Fenty skincare line, is the Hydra Visor Invisible Moisturizer Broad Spectrum 30. And it is $35. This is formulated without oxybenzone or octinoxate with concern for the coral reef. It is a chemical sunscreen. So I have heard other creators on this platform talk about this, that a lot of the ingredients used within these formulations, specifically this moisturizer, are formulated so that it can work with multiple ranges of skin types, and that is why it is a chemical sunscreen. I know chemical sunscreens get a lot of bad rap. Chemical sunscreens aren't bad. They can just be pretty sensitizing, which is why a lot of people like mineral, because the zinc and the titanium aren't as sensitizing. It's just the fact that they leave a white cast. So it's a very back and forth thing that goes on. The sensitivity of chemical sunscreens on the skin is a concern because the US has not updated their UV filters. They are very behind, and in comparison to a country like Korea, where their UV filters are just ahead of the US's time, they are less sensitizing and they have had more research behind them so that the chemical components aren't harmful to the coral reefs, and they are less sensitizing on the skin, whereas in America we still have these types of concerns in terms of sensitization. I know there's a lot of dialogue on coral reefs, so I don't really want to speak to that right now, but in terms of sensitization, I would say that Korea is definitely ahead of their time in terms of the US. So that's why chemical sunscreens tend to be a bit of a headbutt in the US. I've heard that the moisturizer is not sensitizing on the people that I have seen use it so far, and it does not leave a white cast, which is great. And so today I'm going to be going over two different types of product. Unfortunately, I really wanted to keep this video to Korean skincare, and that's what I'm still doing, but I also couldn't really find a product that was a moisturizer that had SPF in it. But I don't think that Korean brands formulate this type of product, because sunscreen, from what I have heard and learned in the past, that sunscreen and a moisturizer can get very diluted, and I think that's why you need to use a lot of that moisturizer. Because of that dilution within the formulation, you want to pack it on so that you know you're getting, you know, your proper protection, which is why you use a lot more of a moisturizer that has sunscreen on the skin. So today I will be sharing with you guys a separate sunscreen and a separate moisturizer for your skin. I'm not going to be sharing a moisturizer sunscreen hybrid. I watched some videos of creators of color using these types of sunscreens and showing how they work on their skin. Leah Yu has a great video about that, and Hiram also has a great video that I watched in addition. So from what I know so far, I will disclaim if some of those creators did speak otherwise of the sunscreen I'm going to show you, because there is one that is a little bit iffy, but the rest should be friendly towards people of color. So if you are concerned about that, from what I know, this should be okay. I'm also going to come out with a video about that soon. I just gotta get my friends to film it with me. All right, I'm gonna go through this a little bit quickly. So the first one I wanted to show you guys is a moisturizer, and this is the Oh So Simple Moisturizer by Krave Beauty. Super simple. It's like a 10 ingredient list. Has oat kernel extract and squalene oil to help repair the skin and soothe it. It's very calming and it's very compatible because of its simplicity. It's very easy to use. It's a gel texture, so if you're looking for that lightweight like summer cream. I know Rihanna's moisturizer had a little bit of like a creamy texture to it, but it was still thin. So I was thinking that this could be a really good option because it's jelly. It's not necessarily creamy, but it's still thin, and it gives you just a little bit of that thick feeling, so it's still a little bit like hydrating, dry skin friendly, but it's still light enough for the oily skin types out there. The Oh So Simple moisturizer is also fragrance free. Another thing about this Oh So Simple product is that it is $28. I would say that I feel like this is a little bit pricey in comparison to the ingredient list. Not to say that the ingredient list is bad. I don't think it is bad at all. I actually love it and I love its simplicity, but I also think that because it's simple, it is a little bit expensive. The next product I want to talk about is another Good Skin Days product, so let's keep in mind that this is also something that contributes part of their sales to the Black Lives Matter movement. This is the On the Bright Side moisturizer. So I really love this moisturizer because it feels like silk. It's so smooth. I used this for the first time like a month ago, and it just felt like I was just like really like effortlessly rubbing this in. It just slid across my face. So beautiful, so luxurious. And the great thing about this moisturizer is that it's only $24, which is relatively affordable for a moisturizer. This product contains ingredients like fermented probiotics, really great humectants, and madecassoside to help really repair the skin, maintain its natural microbiome, and it also is really good for brightening as well. And another thing about the On the Bright Side moisturizer by Good Skin Days is that it is vegan as well. And it does not contain any fragrance component. The next moisturizer that I have here, I believe has the most similar consistency to the Fenty moisturizer. It has this very like gel milky mix. It blends seamlessly into the skin. It's so beautiful, it's so light, and this is formulated for sensitive skin types, so it has no fragrance in it if that is of concern to you. It's filled with very calming ingredients, and I love using this in the daytime and at night. It's beautiful for my dry skin, and I'm also a fan of thinner consistencies, so that's why I really enjoy this, because I feel like even though it hydrates so well, it's not overwhelming and it's not thick on the skin. The one thing about this moisturizer is that it's not vegan because it contains propolis, which is honey, which is produced by bees. So if that is of concern to you, I just want to disclaim that. The next product I have here is a sunscreen. So let's get into our first round of sunscreens. This is the Centella Green Level Unscented Sun by Purito. Purito. And it is SPF 50 plus PA 4+, meaning that it protects against UVA and UVB, so it is a broad spectrum protection. This sunscreen is only $13.16, and this was one of the first sunscreens that Hiram recommended in his video, specifically for darker skin tones and sunscreen and not leaving a white cast. He is so right, it is exactly like a moisturizer. This is a chemical sunscreen, but because it was made in Korea, it contains more photostable UV filters, which is really great. This product contains niacinamide, which is really good for brightening and skin barrier repair, and it also contains centella asiatica, as it is said in the title here, which is really good for calming redness and sensitive skin. So if you have sensitive skin, this might be a really good sunscreen option. It blends seamlessly, let me tell you that, at least on my skin from what I saw and what I have seen in other videos of people of color using this. This is truly just like a moisturizer. It kind of worries you at first because it does come out a little bit tinted, but it blends in like water. It just melts into this watery gel consistency. The next product I have is the Comfy Water Sunblock SPF 50 PA4+ by Purito, and it is fragrance free and vegan. This is a mineral sunscreen, and I have heard different reviews about this. I've heard that it works really well and that it doesn't leave any white cast, but I've also heard some people have seen a white cast even on lighter skin tones, so I'm not really sure where to fall with this, but I did want to show it just in case you really wanted to try it. Again, I've heard so many mixed reviews, regardless of skin tone, everyone has said different things. So this is definitely worth a shot if you do really like mineral sunscreens and you want to use one. So this has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So it has both UVA and UVB protection, which means it's broad spectrum. So it will protect you from all of the sun's rays. I also saw a creator called Glow by Ramon use this in one of his videos when he was talking about makeup and the sunscreen and how they pair well together. I'll link the video above as well. And when I saw it on his skin, and what he was saying is that he didn't think it left any white cast, but in his beard specifically, he felt like it did stick a bit, which I can see happen with mineral sunscreens because they are just a bit more creamy in consistency. In my experience using this, it feels almost the exact same to me as the past Centella Purito sunscreen. I don't even smell a sunscreen smell, and it does have a little bit of a tack to it, just a little. The Centella sunscreen that I showed before didn't have as much of a tack, and it did smell a little bit more like sunscreen, but it felt more like a moisturizer. And this doesn't smell like sunscreen, but it feels less like a moisturizer, a little bit more like sunscreen. So just interesting to me. It doesn't seem to be leaving a white cast on my skin, so I guess that's a good thing for my specific skin type. But again, I still think that it's worth it because it is a mineral option if you are interested in that and you do have darker skin. I do think that this could possibly work for you based off what I've seen other creators say and review about this. Again, there is mixed reviews, so it's really all about trying it. The last product that is almost, honestly, I think it's empty for me, and I think I'm gonna have to cut this to do my product shop. So this is the Beat Shield by Krave Beauty. Again, beautiful, photostable, and not sensitizing UV filters used in this sunscreen. It is like a serum on the skin. It's beautiful. It's lovely. I enjoy putting this on. Doesn't smell like sunscreen. Doesn't leave a white cast. It acts like a serum or a light moisturizer. It doesn't even come out white. It doesn't. It comes out like this kind of greenish yellowy color, not disgusting and not like it's oxidized or anything, but it's just like a very natural color because she uses a lot of antioxidants like beetroot in here. So I believe that's kind of what it's from, is that incorporation of those antioxidants in those plants. This is 50+ PA4+, meaning it has broad spectrum. So it is a very high count of SPF, which I also want to put out there is that using this on top of a moisturizer will probably give you better effects than just using the Fenty Skin Moisturizer with the 30 SPF, because the SPF, you have to really pack on that moisturizer to get the effects, and it's 30, so it's not that high, and so you automatically just have to reapply it a lot. And I don't think that that is a bad thing. The purpose of the moisturizer with the SPF in it was a good purpose, because it's supposed to encourage all skin types to use sunscreen, because no skin type or no skin color should feel like they shouldn't use sunscreen because they have darker skin. Every skin color should be wearing sunscreen. But personally, I do think that you might get a better sunscreen protection by using a separate moisturizer and a separate sunscreen rather than them together. Even when you do use a moisturizer with sunscreen in it or makeup with sunscreen in it, I always think that you should be applying a separate sunscreen with that, because that sunscreen usually is of a lower SPF and it is diluted in that formulation. So it's probably best to always just have a separate sunscreen used on top of those things. So if you do like that Fenty moisturizer and you just want that extra protection to feel safe outside, these sunscreens I think are really awesome options for you to add into that Fenty skincare routine if you love it. Alright guys, I apologize for the length of this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to watch like the videos in the end screen, you know, and thanks for watching. Bye.